Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's they made what into a movie. We're both smiling already because this is fucking weird, but also surprisingly good.
I know.
Yeah. Biohazard 4D-Executor. I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? What is that? We said the same. I stumbled across this by accident a few weeks ago, and I said to you, like, it's only 20 odd minutes long, so not really a film, but it kind of is. We got to check this out. We've done a shit ton of Resident Evil content already in this. Let's get this in there before we start the animated side of Resident Evil fully. Because this effectively is, outside of video game cutscenes, the very first Resident Evil animated film. Year 2000, a Japanese 3D animated biopunk horror film based on the Resident Evil series of survival horror video games, created by Capcom in cooperation with Visual Science Laboratory and distributed by Digital Amuse. Biohazard 4D-Executer was directed by Koichi Ohata and written by Daisuke Okamoto, who was supervised by the game series developers. It was a very limited release, and actually is a more of an attraction in Japanese theme parks since November 2000 and can be seen in movie theaters and smaller booths. So that's kind of where this thing came from. Really more of just a very localized thing and certainly not meant to be seen by the rest of the world, which is often sometimes the case, particularly in the 90s of Japanese sort of releases, where a lot of the times we simply didn't see them over here.
Yep, thanks for yep.
So this was an interesting watch, nonetheless. Immediately, I got to say, we're talking 3D animation from it. Now, we will say, I watched this on YouTube. There are a number of different versions on YouTube, including some fan edits that were like, oh, a person had cut out bits that were deemed too boring. And I was like, no, I want to watch the proper version of this. So I think I watched the full version of it. It's around about 22 minutes long, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, quality is not great because of that, but the version I got looked okay enough. The 3D animation is that late 90s, early 2000s 3D animation. If you've seen some of the other shows you've done,
Yeah.
Starship Troopers, Roughnecks,
Yeah.
similar style to that. Reboot from the late 90s, very blocky, very ugly, but also not the worst animation you're gonna see, you know?
Did yours was yours dubbed or was yours
No. Mine was subtitled.
yeah, my dear.
Okay, cool. Well, the story centers on a mission basically the mission of a military squad sent to the zombie-infested Raccoon City to locate the whereabouts of Dr. Cameron, a scientist conducting research on a new type of virus. So this is set Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, in between those, basically.
Yeah.
And as always, like all new stories of Resident Evil, there's always a new virus. How many viruses? Do you know what I mean? Like when you throw in Resident Evil Zero and all the other spin-offs, how many viruses were going on at once? Maybe just focus on one thing, Capcom.
Yeah.
Umbrella. Then it wouldn't have been such a problem, you know?
It's that's because I was trying to work out what time period this is six because at first I thought it was they were the squad going in to get Birkin at the start of that's what I thought at first, but then obviously as you go on you figure it's not that.
No, yeah, it's obviously set. So it's set Raccoon City, so it's before Resident Evil 3's bomb is dropped. So that's
Yeah.
100%. So it can only take place between 2 and 3 because obviously Raccoon City is infested with zombies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, basically before the bomb, but after the T virus has wrecked it. The G virus, should we say? G virus, yeah. Cast. So basically, Masaki Ezawa plays Klaus. Hiroto Torihata plays Roger. Hideto Eheria plays Ed. Tatsuke Ohamizo plays Roberto. Yoshiinki Kanekio plays Norman. And Yuraki Hinoa plays Cameron. Yes, I find it also hilarious that they have such Western names. You know? Right. This isn't going to be a long review, folks. It's not a long film, so we're just going to talk you through the experience. Basically, a military squad consisting of leader Klaus and his men Roger, Ed, Robert, and Norman is sent into the city, Raccoon City, by the Umbrella company. They are members of the umbrella of Biohazard Countermeasure Service, a group specialized in dealing with biohazard outbreaks caused by Umbrella. Yeah, we've seen these groups before, and they're all fucking useless, and they
Yeah.
all end up dying. They always end up dying.
I know, because it's because they're fucking stupid, man.
They
They
also
really
don't
are.
know what they're dealing with. But Umbrella goes, it's like, yeah, go in and deal with this problem, but they never actually tell them what the problem is.
Oh, by the way, squad, you might see some zombies and some weird creatures. Just be
Yeah,
prepared, you know.
or this virus, like what this virus could do. This group, right, could have been told this virus does this, so then they're like, oh, we should look out for this specific
Yeah,
thing. They're told nothing, you
I
know.
know.
All they get told is their objective is to rescue Dr. Cameron, a scientist researching a new virus. And I just went, oh yeah, of course, obviously, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was in Raccoon City researching this virus. The squad tracks a signal from our ID card and end up at a warehouse. Right, okay, Umbrella, listen. If you're going to put your trackers in ID cards that they wear, that they can take off,
Yeah,
you're such a bad company. I know we know this anyway, but seriously,
yeah,
they come off, you know? They wonder if she is even still alive because obviously they're seeing zombies and the whole thing. I do actually like the animation of the zombies. I think it looks
yeah,
quite
yeah,
cool.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They head into the warehouse to investigate, and it's not a pretty place to be because, as well as the dead, we see flies and roaches. But because this hasn't got time to hang around, they also come across a new kind of bioweapon that attacks and kills Robert, a really powerful monster that I kind of thought, oh, is that like a cross between like a licker and a
Yeah.
hunter? Kind of like a variant of that, but I think it's a bit bigger. It also reminded me a little bit of the things from Resident Evil 4, you know, the spiky
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
monsters, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
It kills Robert, but they're able to blow it to pieces. That animation is not so good because for some reason, this one tries to avoid showing blood. And so it kind
yeah,
of blows up like it's made of Lego, which was a weird thing, you know? They now realize that the Cameron signal is on the move, so the group head off to follow it. But unaware of this, now this is where things get cool. This creature has the ability to transfer its mind to other life forms. So we kind of see it first transforming into a roach, then that roach attacks a rat, and then from that into a body of a crow. And this way it's able to follow the team. Now we do get some cool visuals here as we kind of see it's like it connects itself to the other, like it's that kind of thing, which is
yeah.
it's kind of gross to look at. I actually thought was a bit like, oh, I don't like that, you know?
If, if I was those fucking soldiers, as soon as I saw like the piles of cockroaches crawling towards me, that's me fucking leaving straight away because it's actually absolutely disgusting, man.
And
Yeah,
that's why you're not part of Umbrella's biohazard
yeah,
containment
exactly.
teams. Yes. Here we get this cool effect of like the crow, the infected crow swooping across the city, seeing zombies. I thought this was actually really good. Yeah. I'll admit at this point I was like, I thought this was going to be shit. This is actually pretty good so far.
Yeah, I might be wrong here, but this is like one of the first Resident Evil shows that has really used the crows properly. As if they bite you, they infect you and stuff like that. Where most of them is just like the crows flying around and stuff like So
Yeah, let's look at talking about what was it? Which was the one that Resident Evil movie that really the
no,
third
no,
Resident Evil one that really
yeah,
used the crows? Yeah.
in the desert, yeah,
Norman and Roger go with Klaus into the sewers because that's where the signal for is. While Ed stands guard in the street. It's a decent idea. You wait up here, so we've got an exit route.
yeah,
Underground, the team finds Dr. Cameron's equipment, but are attacked by a dog. Not actually an infected dog either, because they're able to just kill it. It's just a normal dog.
yeah,
They kill it, but discover it's wearing the doctor's ID card. And I was about like, well, duh. You know, like it's like none of these scientists ever want to be like. The problem is we all these scientists always know Umbrella's plan. All of them
yeah,
already know what Umbrella's plan is. Maybe Umbrella needs to stop telling these scientists, "Hey, come work for us. You can develop whatever weird virus you want, but just on the up, keep you in the know. We'll take it from you and kill you in the process." Stop
yep.
telling them that part of things. This would be a problem, except Roger now reveals that their true purpose, and I laughed. I was like, isn't that always a true
Of
purpose?
course.
They're not trying to actually rescue the Doctor. They're to collect research data regarding a new virus capable of regenerating genes. She was apparently infected with her creation and mutated into the monster, and that monster was the one the squad fought at the warehouse. And now, finding her base of operation, the mission has been accomplished. And isn't this bit like, of course, I laughed, but you know what? It's so Resident Evil, isn't it delightful?
Literally, every game has the same bloody story, but it works. It works.
It works, it works, you
Yeah,
know. The only thing we're missing is the self-destruct sequence has been activated. That's
yeah,
not here. Um, While Klaus and Norman return to the surface, Ed is killed by the crow and the noise is attracting zombies. There is a genuinely great scene where basically Norman returns to the sort of manhole and the
Mm.
spent shells that Ed was firing starts to kind of pour down. And like he looks up and realizes what the hell's going on, and then the monster leans in and kills him. I
Yeah,
was like, that's really fucking good.
yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Ed, we now see is transformed into what is, I think, a pretty horrible looking beastie. Again, I think they hold up pretty, considering they are 25 years old at this, a quarter of a century
Yeah,
old. Klaus has no choice but to run back to the sewers. He is able to evade it and escape out another manhole, but is surrounded by zombies and some distance from their vehicles. After killing a few, the monster comes crashing about the ground, forcing Klaus to run for his life. And it looks to be all over when the monster is able to injure him, but Roger now arrives in the military vehicle, and Klaus is able to use the machine gun attached to the vehicle to destroy it. And we get a nice little action-packed sequence. As the two men escape driving out of the city, Klaus asks about the virus, and Roger explains how it fuses with genes, enabling Dr. Cameron to regenerate her body into other life forms, making her kind of immortal to some degree. Oh, we've heard of that before. Everyone thought they were immortal. Wesker thought he's immortal. And we know how that ended, you know? Unfortunately, Klaus realizes too late that he's not in the vehicle with Roger, as he's then impaled with tentacles pinning him to the seat. Roger now reveals two faces. He kind of turns his head to reveal he's got two faces. The second one being Dr. Cameron's. Great reveal. I realized at the same time he did. I didn't
yep.
pay. I didn't clock it.
Again, I wasn't paying attention, but then when I went back a little bit when he's talking about basically they could take over anyone, and
Yeah,
I was like, oh, there you go. He's basically telling him there that I'm the preacher.
yeah. The research explains that she was watching them in the body of the dog while they were in the warehouse, and that she realized that Umbrella was pursuing her research data. So that's intriguing. She didn't necessarily know Umbrella was after the research data until she saw the team. Okay.
Yep.
Dr. Cameron tells Klaus that he and his team turned out to be the perfect guinea pigs for the virus she had created, and that she will continue her experiments trying to return herself to a human form. And in a really surprise, like dark ending, it ends with her using tentacles to rip his face apart.
Yeah.
It's a really violent and gory end, and I was like, well, that was quite special.
Yep.
Listen, I thought this was great. I
Yep.
thought this was great. I think if you've not seen this as a Resident Evil fan, you need to check it out. Yeah, it's non-canon and never used or in any way, shape, or form related. It's completely separate from everything, and obviously non-canon because this story and this virus and what it can do is never utilized again, at least in the context it is here. But yeah, there's a little bit of slice of extra Resident Evil content. It's well worth a watch.
When it's when it's better than the Welcome to Raccoon City, it's good. So yeah,
It's so digestible at 20 odd minutes long as
yeah,
well. It's really worth a watch. I was just surprised. I generally thought this would be a stupid little bit of trash from a forgotten era. While it is that, it is literally that. It's an entertaining piece of trash that I think
yeah,
a lot of effort was put into. A lot of effort was put into making it decent, was to making it
yeah,
good. There were a
yeah. I
couple of
agree.
times where I genuinely went, "Oh, that was good." You know.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So it was short and sweet. So
As was our review, Biohazard 4D-Executer. Look, that's our thoughts on it. And we enjoyed it. So if you've got any you want to share with us, you know what to do, let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.